Oh. All right, well, my name is John Zapata. I'm the Senior Vice President of Distribution for Rooms to Go. I've been with the company since it started in 1991. And we've recycled every year except for the first year. We basically got into it sort of, not by accident, but by just trying to reduce tipping fees. And it's grown into something that we never could have foreseen back then. And that's kind of what I want to show you today. I'm going to go through this a little bit different, so we make it nice and short, but you'll get the general idea of what Rooms to Go does. You know, in terms of our waste stream tonnage, I guess I should use it right here. You know, cardboard is by far the biggest item that a distribution center like us in the retail furniture business is going to have. 53%. We have plastic, styrofoam, old mats, metal, old mattresses. If anybody that runs a landfill knows you don't want those mattresses in a landfill. They're real problematic. Metal and wood. So that's basically the mixture of our incoming products. The nice thing, or the good thing that we have going for us, but a lot of other businesses do too, is that it's clean. We don't have biodegradable or any kind of biological contaminants in our waste stream. So we're able to keep it very clean. As far as income's concerned, because cost is always seems to be an issue. And I never quite got that, but it is an issue. I've had people ask me, in fact, I had our CFO ask me when we first started this, you know, how much is recycling going to cost? My answer was, it costs nothing. Because you have to handle your trash anyway. You have to pay someone to dump it, you have to put it in a dumpster, and you have to pay for tipping fees. When you actually start to recycle, for most cases that I've seen, it doesn't cost anything. You make money on it. But somehow the cost issue became a much bigger metric than it should have ever been. It's kind of like when I bought a Prius. When the Priuses first came out, California, I had to buy one, right? So I bought one. And some engineer friends of mine, some other people say, well, you never get your upcharge back in the amount of gasoline you'll save over the length of time that you'll have the car. Because it gets great gas mileage, but it's not enough to really give you that $6,000 or $7,000 upcharge back that you're paying over what a gasoline engine Prius would cost you. I said I didn't buy it for the gas mileage. I don't know how that became the argument, because it did. The reason most of us people bought Priuses in the first place, back when they weren't popular, was that they reduced pollution coming out of the tailpipe by 95%. You reduce your pollution by 95%, which was the original intent of the hybrid engine. It's just that they had to get to the gas mileage component too, or they couldn't sell it to anybody. So it's kind of like, when I think about recycling, you know, everybody should recycle. All companies, especially all companies, should recycle, because it really doesn't cost you anything. Some things you don't make any money on, but other things you do. So it really shouldn't be that big of an economic argument. It just shouldn't. Let's see if I can move on here. Now, tell you a little bit about Rooms to Go. Hopefully everybody in here knows Rooms to Go, because it's a relatively local conference. But, you know, we have a mission at Rooms to Go to recycling, to define and enact sustainability, you know, workable sustainability efforts. What I mean by it is workable. These things actually work. What we've done, you know, we try them, we test them, they work, and we've always felt we have a communal responsibility to reduce our waste, because we're in business, we're a company, we make money, we do good. Fortunately, business is good, right? And there's some responsibility that any company has in our situation to not pollute the environment, or not make the environment any worse off before you came than it is while you're there. So we want to help define the processes and techniques that, you know, will help industries reach goals that make a significant positive difference. As I opened my little story here, is our recycle effort took on a life of its own. We didn't foresee most of the good stuff that happened when we first started it. Anyway, show you a little bit about where Rooms to Go's at. We have about 180 stores, 5,000 employees. So we cover a relatively large geographic area in the southern half of the United States. It's too cold to go any further north. But in 2013, the Florida DEP recognized Rooms to Go for its outstanding performance in recycling when we hit the 80-some% mark. We've hit 90% a couple of times of our waste stream, so we're always bouncing back and forth between 87, 90%. Cardboard, styrofoam, plastic, wood, and metal, those are products that we recycle from our waste stream. But we're especially proud of the styrofoam and plastic recovery, as those items take almost 1,000 years to break down in a landfill, as well as they cause, in Florida especially, major health issues for many birds and fish. And we keep over 40,000 mattresses a year from ever hitting a landfill. They all get reprocessed. So a perspective for some of the things that we've done over the last 20 years, we could fill a trash train that would stretch from Orlando to Lakeland. There was nothing but trash. All of that did not go into a landfill. So that's what we're really proud of. The fact that we made a lot of money on it is kind of nice too. But we're more proud of the fact that it didn't go to the landfill. But kind of get back to the history of recycling. Back in 1992, we had about 20% or I forgot the percentage. Maybe 18%. No, 19% that we were able to recycle in our first year. And most of it went to the landfill. In 2014, quite a different picture. That's just the cardboard, 65%. Then the metal that we recycle, the plastic we recycle, the styrofoam we recycle, gets us into the 87 to 90% of our total waste stream we're able to divert out of the landfills. The point here is we didn't see a lot of the good stuff that happened. We could always have a meeting and come up with all the bad things that would happen, might happen. If we started this, how much do the machines cost? What's this going to cost? The people and all that. But you can quantify that to a great degree, but you can't quantify the good things that happen because you don't know. It's kind of like unknown unknowns in some speeches I've heard about politics with that. And it's been borne out over time and over research that there's a lot of really good things that come out of recycling efforts that people did not foresee when they first started. And not every one of our efforts is profitable, but they do all significantly reduce the amount of trash that we have to send to a landfill. Like mattresses, we don't make any money on. Wood, we don't make any money on. Fabric, we don't make any money on. But we make enough money on other things that it pays for itself. The one takeaway from this presentation, should be that adapting and implementing a recycle program is just really the start of a new change for a company that hasn't been in it. It's a positive beginning because a lot of good things are going to surface that you just couldn't foresee when you first started it. Here's a good example, quilts for kids. In our DCs, we have literally tons of fabric that we get from the manufacturers in case we need to go out on service calls or in case something happens. That we don't use. Fortunately, most of the product is pretty good quality, and we just don't use it. And then after a couple of years, we throw it away because it's no longer necessary to keep. But one of our associates asked, you probably could donate some of that fabric to a Quilts for Kids program that I know about, and we said sure. So we got involved with that, and now all of our fabric that we don't use goes to the Quilts for Kids programs in the 7 states that we have DCs, and that worked out great because it all used to go to the landfill before. Now we found a pretty good use for it. Now I've all talked about things that you should do to have a good program, so I'm not going to go through this chart, but basically it's the same things everyone's been talking about today. Recycle, it's always a good idea. Again, there's always a fear of the unknown taking a risk. There's so many companies that don't recycle that don't understand that it's a good thing. And it's not going to cost them any money. It really isn't. It'll probably make things better in their organization because it does require a little bit of a process review of what they're doing. In the RILA 2013 sustainability report, the evidence shows that retailers have achieved significant business benefits from their sustainability efforts. So that's a finding that they had. And then the Harvard Business Review in September 2009, their quote, the quote is, "Our research shows that sustainability is the motherlode of organizational and technological innovations that yield both bottom line and top line results." You know, back when I thought that, you know, Rooms Ago were the only ones that really had this figured out, then I see this. So somebody else had it figured out too. That when after they got into it and after it got going, you know, this turned out to be a heck of a deal. Way better than we could foresee. And it's happened to a lot more companies besides ours. So we started to save a few bucks on dumpster tipping fees, which is really why we started. And today we're making about $3 million a year income from our commodities that we sell because like all things, you get better and better. We got better at how we collected the goods. We got better on how we market them. And it just turned out to be so much more than we ever could have foreseen when we first started it, which is the whole gist of my program here. So that's what our system looks like, and you see it's not that far from the furniture, you know, we rack, because it's very clean. We process every day in all of our distribution centers, and we do a sort, and we sell to commodity brokers. And we have a lot of people lining up to buy our product. Okay, I appreciate it.